Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today from Logos Rebinding we have a gray Sokoto, or as some call Sokoto, goatskin LSB 2-column. Before we dive into the rebind, I do want to talk about this block a little bit. I have reviewed this before, but here's the reason I elected to have this one rebound. Number one is a 10-point 2-column font. Verse by verse with really nice verse numbers that are easy to find. Also, whenever there is a chapter that begins or a stanza in poetry that begins, they're going to indicate that with a bold verse number. So I thought that was really nice. Also, this is very limited in the notes and the various things that it offers. The only time you will see notes in this is in reference to currency, weights, or measures, or something of that nature. And as you can see, there are not very many in here, but there's an example right there at the bottom. They'll have a little line kind of indicating, letting you know that the note is down there, and it's going to be explaining some sort of currency, weight, or measure. I do like that. I love that you don't have to flip to the back to figure out what the currency is. You just look at the note at the bottom, and then that explains it for you. The poetic settings are center justified, and then the regular settings are right justified. Really beautiful text block. Now, another thing that I want to feature here is there is a guy named DL Beaman. And DL Beaman runs a business called Imperial Edges. And what he does is he does speckle jobs on the edge of your page. And that is just beautiful. Now, what's really interesting is, generally speaking, when you go with a gray theme, you're going to couple that with blue and silver. But DL elected to go with blue and gold, and I tell you, I'm here for it. It's different, but I really like it. I think this is sharp work. And when you open it up on this 32 beautiful GSM paper in Korea, you have just that beautiful edge work, and this is really nice. So if you want some speckle jobs done on your Bibles, then DL Beaman with Imperial Edges is one to work with. He does a great job. Everything is clean. There's not hardly any, if any, bleed over. Even at the beginning, where it's the most difficult with those thick end sheets, you can see that there's not any bleed over there. He just does amazing work. So good job, DL, not only on the color selection, but on the cleanliness of his work. So now let's take a look at Daniel's work. This is, as I said, a Sokoto gray goat skin, and this has more of a natural grain. Sometimes when you see Sokoto, it'll look more like this, where it has grain that just kind of goes in one direction or looks pretty uniform. But in this natural grain, you can see it is shooting all over the place. And especially when you get to the front, check that out. Oh, it's just beautiful. Look at the grain. It's going this way, it's going that way, it's just going all over the place. This is beautiful. Now, one thing about Sokoto, or Sokoto, you need to be careful of is if you get it wet and you keep it wet, it can discolor. Make sure that you're careful when you have like a drink in your hand and condensation gets on your fingers, because that is something that can discolor it. Now, some of the discoloration is natural. All this is natural discoloration here. Let's take a look at a few features that I think are necessary to make a rebind great, and let's start with the spine. Number one, I absolutely love the Cairo with the Alpha and Omega stamped in there blind. I thought that was a neat touch. Rather than putting the gold in there, it just kind of makes it stand out and say, look at me. And then we have Holy Bible, Legacy Standard Bible, and of course, Logos name. Why didn't he put his logo on there? Well, we'll show you in just a second. But I love Daniel's really well-defined raised spine hubs. Just beautiful work, tool work all the way around. And when you tool Sokoto, you can see sometimes it'll antique a little bit and just give it that really nice look. We went with gray stitching all the way around. Daniel's stitch work is excellent. Really good on the cover, but why don't we have the logo on the spine like normal? Because boom, we blind stamped it on the back. That is really cool. Now, this is very interesting because that's something that happened in the tannery that gave it that little splotch there. And I'm gonna be honest, I like that. I think it's kind of cool. Everything like this reminds me that this is totally human processed here. This was tanned by hand, this was rebound by hand, tooled by hand, sewn by hand. All of this was done by human hands. No machinery was involved other than like the stamping machine and all that, but hand set. So now, 3 beautiful blue Beresford ribbons, nice and long, just like I like them. Daniel knows me. All right, now let's take a look at the liner. And this is a Napa Lamb liner in kind of a dark blue. And you can see the gilt line going around, and you can tell this is hand done. And look at those corners, really nice pleats, very well done. And then we have like a clothy kind of Allen style end sheet with your edge line tab there, looking really sharp. And then, as I said, when you get to the block, I'll give you one more look at that open view, just beautiful. And as some of you like, This is not quite a full yap. This is in the sweet spot for me. Now for a thin Bible like this, I don't mind a full yap, but I definitely prefer it to come just shy like that. For some reason, that's just my style, just shy of a full yap. I don't know why, I just like it that way. I love the way it looks. This is beautifully done. Thank you, Daniel, for helping take a $30 text block and making it into a masterpiece. This is beautifully done. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.